Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick and today guys we're going to be jumping down into the world of Vechain, taking a look at the most recent price action and what I think is likely to happen next. As I get into today's video, if you do find it useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so you will not miss another video update. With all that said and done and out of the way, let's jump right down into today's video, kicking things off with that 1 hour time frame. So here we have Vechain paired up with USDT. We're actually on the mixed contract here on the BitGet exchange. So as we can see, we actually have had a bit of a push to the upside over the last few days. So we can see if I grab hold of my percentage movements from down here on the 4th of October to the peak here, we move up about 5.09%, which can be quite sizable when you use leverage. Now, as you can kind of see here, we are still actually expecting a bit of a move to the upside. As we kind of move this across, we can kind of see that we have this potential for a little bit further to the upside, maybe about 1.7 to 1.739 to 1.756. However, if I were to kind of reflect on that, I mean, that's taking a look at this as a three wave here. We'll be then looking coming down here a little bit higher. However, I think we also have the ability to be a little bit more conservative, and that would be to essentially take this movement from here to here. You can see that we hit the 1-to-1. We're up at the 1.236. This way, or this point of view, and basically allows us to kind of look at this as potentially complete. So we want to be a little bit nervous or a little bit cautious, I should say, is probably a better word, when it comes to the Vechain movements, because there's a couple of different ways of looking at it. We obviously have the more bullish one, which, you know, for the bulls out there, we'll love to kind of see. And then, of course, we have the more conservative, right? So I'm going to draw both these targets on here, just so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Okay, so we've obviously have a three-wave completed movement if we were to take a look at it from this way. So we have 1, 2, and 3 like this. Sorry, 1, 2, and 3 like this, right? This is complete. However, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. So the other way of looking at this is to say that we've completed three-wave movement here. Okay, we've had the correction to the downside, and we're then looking for another three-wave movement a little bit higher, and then that's the reason that you might get this move to the upside here. Okay, so there's a couple of different things to kind of be looking at. Either way, we are still stuck in between the range of the peak and the low. So basically our swing high being up here at 1.768 and our swing low being down here at 1.631. Okay, so essentially we are stuck in that little range. You can kind of see that we hit the expectation down there. We rallied on up, we came back down. And again, this will allow us to maybe look at a potential break to the upside on a larger scale. So if I take this out into the daily time frame, you can kind of see there's a little bit less clutter on here. You have the 1.308 on the swing low, bear market low point on the 10th of June. We have the swing high at the 2.124. Okay, that happened over in the 1st of July. Okay, we have this great run upwards. We also can see that we had this break here to the upside. Again, kind of comes into our expectations. Actually peaked a little bit higher than expected, meaning that we still have that potential for a bit of a move upwards. Okay, and if we take a look at that, we can kind of see with our fib scales here that we kind of come up to just short of the 1.618. So it's not impulsive, but we can see this as a potential W, X, Y, X, and Z. So we might get that little peak up a little bit further before we break on down. Okay, and it's only a possibility because of how it's pushed past 1.382. We are, of course, a little bit cautious here simply because we can see this breaking down further into new bear market low points. So that's not actually out of the woods just yet. So we want to be a little bit cautious with how we're kind of approaching this. Ultimately, a little bit of a move to the upside, and then we can see this as a big three-wave correction to the downside overall, something to this effect, okay? This is just one more bear market low potential on Vechain before we start to see that fantastic run to the upside. And I do think with everything that's being built and everything that's being worked on by the Vechain team, that yeah, we are going to see a very significant run to the upside after we have finished with the bear market. Now, as I kind of take this up into the weekly time frame, you can kind of see my expectations drawn out here. Okay, so you can see that we still have that idea of moving up, maybe more towards that 50 EMA, which would be about 2.2 𝗕𝗓 before we go down into new bear market lows. Now, this is a slightly more bearish situation where it shows us really taking us down deeper than 1 cent. Now, this is no guarantee. Ultimately, our minimum expectation is a double bottom at 1.318. However, I think there's actually a more likelihood that we are going to drop down more towards 1.1 than there is to, being less than 1 cent. That being said, it's a possibility that price does come down deeper than 1 cent, and therefore it's important that I do kind of show you those scenarios as well, right? We want to cover all the bases here. Ultimately, though, I think dollar cost averaging pretty much anything lower than 1.5 is a pretty decent strategy in my humble opinion. Now, obviously, I'm not a financial advisor. I cannot give financial advice. All I can do is share my thoughts and opinions on the data in the charts as I personally see it. And if you do have access to a financial advisor, you should probably consult them. They'll know a lot more about your financial situation than I do. So ultimately, my expectations are that we'll have a little bit more of a run to the upside on Vechain, but ultimately we are looking for a new bear market low, or at least a double bottom situation on Vechain, where we can accumulate even more VET ahead of the next kind of bullish market. I'm going to leave the video right there though, guys. If you have found it useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next one.